there, Julie here with FoodStorageMadeEasy.net, and today we're going to show you something we've actually been wanting to do for a long time. We wanted to do a basic video on how to make bread. Making bread is an important skill to have. If you are storing food for a rainy day, whether it be some kind of natural disaster or emergency crisis, storing wheat is one of the main ingredients you're going to store. And to make bread with wheat is one of the main things you're going to be able to make. So whether you decide to make bread every week or you just want to learn the skill so that you have it in case you need it, it's just something good to know. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're signed up for our newsletter, you would have received this. It's a recipe card of our favorite bread recipe. Once we started using this bread recipe, we've never used any other. It works really well. And along with that, bread making FAQ handout, which answers a lot of questions people really have. Now, the recipe and the handout are great, but if you're like me, sometimes when you're learning something new, you just want to go over to your friend's house, go in their kitchen, and have her show you how. So that's what I'm going to do today. So welcome into my kitchen. I'm going to show you, as though you're here, how to make bread. Whole wheat bread. So first step is to grind wheat. Now, one of the common questions we get, what if I don't have a wheat grinder? You can buy whole wheat flour and that works. If you just want to learn the skill, but if you're storing wheat, you do need to know how to, you need to be able to grind it at some point. So this is a Wondermill, one of the wheat grinders we like. We also like the Nutrimill, and I'm going to show you what grinding wheat looks like. So this is wheat. It's just a little kernel, and that's what allows it to have such a good shelf life. Once it's ground, then oils and things are going to start to get released, and so then you need to use it within a certain amount of time. But in this form, it can last a really long time. So I just actually have a huge bucket of this in my pantry because I don't want to go down and up and down to the basement to use it. So I just pulled some out. So I'm just going to show you how to grind wheat. We're going to get started with that. Turn it on. Okay, so the wheat is ground, and if you come and look at it, all you have as the result, it's amazing, is just flour. So this is whole wheat flour. Now from here we're going to do the first step, and the first step is what we call the sponging step, and I think this is what makes this recipe better than any others we have tried. Something about this process really helps. So you put 7 cups of flour into here. You don't have a 2-cup is awesome. So that's 2, 4, 6, and then 7. So this is a really big recipe. I'd recommend probably halving it, especially if you don't have like a Bosch mixer. A KitchenAid, this will wear out a KitchenAid really fast. So this is the full recipe. It'll make 6 loaves of bread. So a half one will do 3, which is still quite a bit. So 7 cups of flour, and then 2/3 of a cup of Vital Wheat gluten. And what the Vital Wheat gluten does is it helps it be soft and like stick together. So this is actually what wheat gluten is just part of wheat. So 2/3 of a cup of that. And then 2.5 tablespoons of yeast. And we like the SAF, S-A-F yeast. It has like a red band. It's in a white container like this with a red band and the word SAF on it. We find that it works every time. It's really good. This is instant yeast, so you don't have to do the thing where you put it to hot water and make sure it bubbles first and all that. You can just throw it right in, so it's super simple. So 2.5 tablespoons of yeast, and then 5 cups of hot water. So what we're going to do with this is mix it for 1 minute and then let it sit for 10 minutes. So while this sits, I usually actually pull out the rest of the ingredients, kind of a little time-saving tip. So I'll pull these all out, and I actually keep all of these things, including my Wondermill and all these ingredients. I keep them permanently in this cupboard here, along with my pans. So I call this my bread making cupboard. So when I need to make bread, I just pull everything out and put everything back, and I'm not all over the kitchen, and I feel like it's less of a mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this for 1 minute and then let it sit for 10. And and I'm gonna plug it in. That's actually a good question most people have. Well, what if you don't have electricity? I have made this bread from scratch with a hand grinder and kneading by hand, and it works. It's just a lot of work. So these are tools that are awesome to have to rotate your wheat and actually use it frequently with electricity. So practice when you have electricity, and then know how to do it if you don't. Okay, so this has been sponging for 10 minutes. In that time, I've put a couple things away. I just wanted to mention, I actually leave my yeast in the freezer. It keeps better longer, so that's just a little tip for you. Now I'm just gonna add the rest of the ingredients, mix it, and then knead it again. So the rest of the ingredients are some salt, and this is all obviously on the recipe card. There will be a link to it you can get. Some salt, and then some oil and honey. And one thing that's kind of annoying when you're pouring honey is it'll get stuck in your cup. And so I always use the same cup for both oil and honey. And I do oil first, and then I kind of just leave a little bit at the bottom there. And by leaving a little bit at the bottom, then it'll slide right out. So that's kind of nice. Then we get some honey in here. Some people ask, can I use other sweeteners? Yes, you can. I find that honey works best. I've tried sugar, and it kind of seems to make it maybe a little bit drier. Honey is a little bit more expensive than sugar, but it's a lot better for you, so I try to get my honey in bulk and use it that way. So this is a little bit, there we go. Honey doesn't go bad, but it does crystallize and gets a little bit hard sometimes. So I actually don't always put the full 2/3 because I think it's sweet enough. So there's the honey, and then some lemon juice. The lemon juice is a natural dough enhancer. You can also use like vitamin C tablets, crush them up and put the powder in there. So anything that's like a dough enhancer, I like the lemon juice because it's natural. You can buy containers of dough enhancer, you'll see at the store, but it's just full of ingredients. I don't even know what they are. So I like to just kind of control what's going in here. So that's all of it in terms of ingredients, except for there's still the last bit of flour. And so I'll do that little by little. So I'll mix this. And then slowly add in 5 cups of flour. Now the consistency here of what you want your dough to be once the flour is done. So you add it one at a time slowly and watch it. You want to feel like the dough might be just a little too sticky. If you feel like, oh, it might be a little too sticky, then that's probably good. If you keep adding flour until it is, it's not sticky, you're gonna have a much more dry bread. It's gonna be a lot more crumbly. So a little sticky is actually good. So I usually get the first couple in here. Okay, so I added about 5 cups, and I was just kind of keeping an eye at the end. And so if you look in here, basically it's coming off the edges, but it's not, it's kind of got like a little bit of a stickiness to it. So see how like if I put it on my finger, it kind of sticks, but if I were to roll it, it would come off. So that's what you want. And then from here you go 6 minutes of kneading, and then you'll be ready to put it in the pans. Now the 6 minutes of kneading is really important. A lot of times when bread doesn't turn out, it's because you haven't kneaded it enough. When you're kneading it, it's developing the gluten, it's making everything stick together. So if you have a really dry loaf and it's not that, moist, then you probably didn't knead it enough. So whether it's a mixer or by hand, you want to make sure you do get that full knead in. So I'm going to knead it for 6 minutes and then we'll be back. heating for 6 minutes, and in that time I try to put everything away and get a little bit ahead of myself on the cleaning. And I spray my counter down with Pam instead of flouring it. Flouring it again will make it crumbly and dry, and you don't want to do that. So this dough is awesome. I love, it's like warm and nice. And so you want it to feel, you know, you can pull it. It's kind of got a wetness to it, but it's not super sticky, but it's still kind of sticky. So this here will make 6 like small to medium loaves. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna make 2 of these loaves, and then I'm gonna make some loaves to give away, and then some pizza dough. Now if I didn't want to give some dough away or make pizza dough, I can make cinnamon rolls, or I can make rolls. The dough is just so versatile, you can use it for anything. So I basically split it in half, and then I know that this is 3, so I go 1, I kind of, you know, say that's gonna go there, 2, that's gonna go there, that's gonna be a pizza dough, there'll be another pizza dough, and then I'll put this into the 4 smaller loaves. I might rob a little bit. So this will be my 4 loaves here. So I'll just show you. For pizza dough, I mean, you just roll it out. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's any old roller. And what's really nice about it is it doesn't change the shape too much once you roll it out. So that'll be the pizza dough. I'll make sure to grease those. But for a loaf of bread, I just wanted to show you for a loaf of bread what to do. So I like to kind of pat it down like that. And then I kind of like to roll it almost like a sleeping bag. Kind of nice and uniform. And then you really want to make sure you get it pinched good. And I just kind of fold it under. Doesn't really matter because it's going to rise and kind of take the shape of the pan anyways, but so I'm going to put this in here, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my other ones, and then what I'll do is I'll cover this for about 30 minutes, and then, or 30 minutes to an hour, and then bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. Depending on your oven, you'll want to watch it. If it's getting too brown, you can put tin foil on top. But it's about good. And then for the pizza dough, I just top it and bake it at 425 for about 15 minutes. You don't have to bake it first and then put the toppings on. You can just bake it all at once. So that is it for today. This is hopefully a little bit helpful. Hopefully you had fun in my kitchen with me today and you've learned a little bit and seen a little firsthand on how to make bread, and you're brave enough to try it yourself. And remember, there is the frequently asked questions download and the recipe. We'll have that in the links below that you can use for this. So have a great day, and thanks for coming today. FoodStorageMadeEasy.net.